we identified the pain, okay, and this pain got actually amplified over the years in different forms. And this pain was around allowing people to create software that they trust. Initially, it was just this revolution of creating software from reusable components, mostly open source, obviously. And you know, when you start to assemble your software from many pieces, and you don't have control over these pieces, it becomes a risk. And the initial risk was just maybe this open source software that you're using, maybe it's going to get off the grid, like vanish from the internet. That's what this event specifically was, how the trigger for JFrog came to me for the main product for Artifactory.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. 20-Minute Leaders is a proud supporter of Make-A-Wish Israel and Tech to Peace, and is in proud collaboration with Secret Chord Ventures, J Ventures, Riverside FM, Fusion VC, Birthright Excel, J Impact, Leap, Google for Startups, and Hippo, and in media partnership with CTech. Yoav Landman, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. I'm so excited and honored to have you here. I've actually been very excited for this episode for quite some time, so I'm particularly looking forward to these 20 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure, Michael.
So, Yoav, introduction has a limited need here. You are the founder and CTO of one of the most incredible companies and stories, obviously of Israel, but really globally. You're the founder and CTO of JFrog, a software company really looking at taking the leap of digital transformations with thousands of customers, and a company that I think probably every entrepreneur and every engineer knows about. And so I'm really looking forward to hearing your own personal journey as a technologist, your vision 15 years ago in founding JFrog, and how you're seeing the world of digital transformations and where we're headed, and where you thought we were going to be and where we are and what we see for the future, and all of that in the context of this amazing company. So thank you again for being here. Yoav, tell me a little bit about yourself as a human. How do you think through your passions, the things you care about?
Yeah, so when I started my career not in computers. I'm a law graduate, and I studied computer as my second degree after I found out that I don't want to be a lawyer. And my journey started with I was a graphic designer, and then I moved to multimedia. Doing CD-ROM, like interactive CD-ROMs, which gives away my age. And then I moved to Australia for a couple of years. I did my master's in computing. I got connected back to my childhood passion. I used to program games as a child at the age of 13 or something like that. So I reconnected to my inner self, to the computer geek, and from there everything started. Came back to Israel, continued to work in some high-tech companies in the country, and eventually founded JFrog with two of my two co-founders, which we used to run a previous company together. A consultancy, which we sold to the Malam Team Group back in 2005, and then JFrog was created in 2008. So that's in a glimpse my journey.
Okay, so you're starting JFrog And several months after starting it, I remember 2008 very vividly because I was, well, from my end, I was in eighth grade, but I remember very, very well the stock market class talking about what's happening in the world. And so I'm very curious to hear about what the first year of JFrog was like as you are as you're entering into a new world of from a financial perspective. But before that, what is the state of software and the state of global digital transformations that you observe, and what is sort of the vision that you set out as the three of you for JFrog?
So we're jumping a lot ahead. Today, many companies are at most of the large companies, they already started the digital transformation, moving away to automation, like really adopting automation in the way that delivers software. I think, and it's not a secret. And this was when JFrog was started. It was like the initial buds of this change in the market, where software became so much engraved in the value proposition of companies. Like it's for many companies, the software they are creating is really the value of the company. Sometimes most of the value that the company delivers. But even for companies which is not the case, software still plays a major part. I have some friends that moved banks because they didn't like the application of the and the user experience that the bank gave them. So again, because software plays such a major role in our life, and it's no longer surprising to anyone, the state of digital transformation is at its peak currently. I think we used to be in the early adopters, and now we're in a phase where we're seeing this as a major trend for everyone. And with JFrog, we serve a lot of enterprises. So we have 7,500 customers.
Wow.
Around that number. Many of them are large enterprises, and so we're seeing this as it happens. We're seeing huge companies moving to the cloud, adopting automation all around. So I think we're at the peak of this transformation.
Incredible.
Still a long way to go for the large companies. A lot of legacy to migrate, but it's undoubtedly happening as we speak.
Do you envision in 2008 that in the 2020 and 2024 is going to come in and you're going to have 7,500 enterprise clients? I mean,
No,
looking at
no.
the three of you and how you're. I mean, is that what you think is going to happen?
No, I don't think. I think anyone that is starting a startup, and you may have a vision, you may aim to be larger, and you may want to be the next Google or Amazon or whatever. But I don't think any entrepreneur can tell you from the kickoff date that this is where they're going to reach. What we've done at JFrog, and this is how the company started. So you asked about how it all started. We identified the pain, okay, and this pain got actually amplified over the years in different forms. And this pain was around allowing people to create software that they trust. Initially, it was just this revolution of creating software from reusable components, mostly open source, obviously. And when you start to assemble your software from many pieces, and you don't have control over these pieces, it becomes a risk. And the initial risk was just maybe this open source software that you're using, maybe it's going to get off the grid, like vanish from the internet. That's what this event specifically was, how the trigger for JFrog came to me for the main product for Artifactory. It was
was it a specific experience or just a realization that this is a hypothetical problem that could happen?
It was a specific incident of a very popular open source library that was hosted. So this is pre-cloud days, and it was hosted on a desktop, which went up in flames at some point, and huge companies couldn't work for days trying to scavenge those components. So that was the funding incident that came to the realization that you need to provide trust. And I was surprised that there wasn't anything out there that you could just host your dependencies, your open source components internally, and reduce that risk. And I mean, this risk exists in other forms today. Like if you are using open source software today, or just third-party libraries, you still run into a risk where the quality of those libraries can change over time. Either it can, sometimes people shut down an open source project, sometimes the project gets overtaken, sometimes the developer kind of gets into a strange zone, like if you know the Faker.js and Color.js libraries, where the developer changed the library to support I think it was the war in Ukraine, and they completely changed the behavior of the library. Security issues like vulnerabilities that people are trying to inject into your software supply chain, which is the main domain that JFrog operates in today, like making sure that everything you build is trusted, that you have full visibility to every component of your software, pretty much like in the automotive industry, where you know how to recall a car because a certain brake was not manufactured in an ideal way, and you know exactly which cars are driving around and where they are with this faulty braking system. So it's the same in software. You have many OEM components that you put into your software, and lots of risk, because that becomes one of the most critical value for you as a company. And most of the companies that are coming for us, that they are coming to gain this control. The other side of it is that the world, as we know it today, is not such a safe place. I mean, we experience it firsthand here in Israel, unfortunately, but in a global sense, there's a lot of evil going around, and people trying to gain benefits from software, like getting into your software supply chain, making like stealing information, extorting companies that they manage to get into their supply chain, or worse, their products. There have been many incidents over the years. Of course, cryptocurrency makes it a lot more tangible for people to do this bad stuff and without getting caught. So that became like a government level concern today. The trust in software and the risk that software.
No, and I think it's quite remarkable how already in 2008, and I'm sure that there were key learnings throughout that had you understand not only this specific problem that you face, but then how it actually extrapolates to every software in every software company in the world, and every digital transformation, and understanding how these risks are operating on a global level, and how to generate these tools that could generalize across every organization. And I think that's really just, beyond the technology and beyond the idea, the ability to actually execute on a solution that can service so many customers and actually do it. And I hear this over and over again about the fact that, those that are actually using the software, the solution, it's just a great product. And I think that's one of the things that I've always, looking over the last few years as I've been inspired by JFrog and your work, it's really been not just the vision and the scale, but it's been the quality that you've been honing in on, which leads me to looking at you as a technology leader, as a CTO. How many engineers or people do you have in the R&D side of JFrog right now?
We have around 500 engineers, so that's nearly a third of the company today. Obviously, we're very
All right,
engineering
and
oriented.
so
Yeah.
Yoav, um, you're starting this company. I assume that a handful of people in the beginning phases. How do you grow to 500 engineers? How do you maintain a level of quality? How do you see leading this organization and leading an organization to hundreds of engineers while maintaining the culture, maintaining the quality, so that 15 years later you can actually execute on thousands of customers?
Yeah, so it's a great question. I mean, and that's something you don't testify for yourself, but that's something I'm really proud of. That sometimes when you interview people or you meet people, they are surprised by the age of JFrog. Like the fact that JFrog was founded in 2008 is a surprise for them because they think the company is much younger. So to maintain the spirit and to maintain the innovation and the livelihood of the company and the culture, of course, that embodies everything. This is something that eventually it comes from the people that you are working with. It comes from the team that you recruit, and when it comes from the top, it kind of trickles down to everyone. So it's a challenge. It gets more challenging with size, but as long as your leaders and the leaders below them are the right kind of people, are messaging this culture and behaving according to this culture, then it actually works. This is what I found out.
What was the most surprising element for you in leading R&D or an R&D organization, whether from a human leadership perspective or from a technology leadership perspective, on the product side? What really surprised you in these 15 years that now looking back, you would say to me, let's say, as a young entrepreneur now embarking on my journey, that I should keep in mind in over the next decade?
Yeah, another very good question. I think, when you're creating a company or you're making a product, and even when releasing a feature that you believe in, so what I found out is that it always surprised me, and now less, but still not trivial even today, how easily customers are willing to replace something they have solved by themselves in a used way. If you solve their pain, if you listen to their pain, and if you come up with and you get the feedback from the customers, and you build something to replace it, how easily they are adopting this solution over homegrown solutions. Because you would think there will be some job security and and people would fall in love with what they built in-house. But that's the rare exception. In most cases, I'm still a bit surprised by that, how fast customers are willing to adopt something that solves the pain they solve themselves.
And you have the most important question, especially from my perspective. What has been the most enjoyable part for you? I'm sure I've been only at this for a year. It's a crazy roller coaster. Obviously, everybody says that. But what were the highest peaks for you as an entrepreneur?
I think two things. First is just getting other products out there. So we started with the main flagship product, which is still a flagship product, which is Artifactory, which is our claim to fame, and this is how we got to a place, to a very central place where we have full control over everything that goes into a release and out as a release in a company. And then when you start adding not functionalities, but building a full platform and adding other products, it was a very educating process first. I mean, we were forewarned by peers about how difficult it's going to be, and they were right. And it was a really tough process to get out there with a platform rather than a single product. We're still learning, by the way, but this was like a huge achievement, coming with a lot of scratches and scars. The other thing relates to the first thing I spoke about. It's seeing customers, seeing a pain being solved, seeing customers adopting what you're creating. I think that there's such a huge joy there that, and I think this is what keeps me ticking. It's like somebody that like a chef in a restaurant that enjoys seeing other people enjoying their dishes. So I think it's the same way in software, and it's not just myself. It's the whole team, of course. That when you create something that customers adopt, there is no greater joy than that. It's like the biggest satisfaction that you can get as a software entrepreneur or just a software guy.
I love it. Yoav, thank you so much for your time, for the inspiration. I know how busy you are, and I really appreciate it. We'll let you get back to leading and such an incredible group and organization. Thank you. Besides the 20 minutes, as a technologist and engineer, as an entrepreneur myself, thank you for being a sort of a spotlight on my journey, to you and to your co-founders. So thank you for that. This is why I started this show, so I get to actually ask the questions that I care about with the companies and entrepreneurs that I'm inspired by. So thank you very, very much. And best of luck with continuing with the next few thousand clients.
You too, Michael. It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me here.